moves! Pokemon still know them! Some moves have changed type. Some signature moves have stopped being signatures. Some non-signature moves have become signatures. There are 251 moves in Generation 2. I want to use them all, using the least number of Pokemon. Let's begin. Unlike with Gen 1, I can actually use my starter for this one, and Tony the Cyndaquil joins the team. As we get our first two moves on the board with Tackle and Leer, I'll go over the rules. This is a mathematical exercise to find what's the least number of Pokemon that are needed to use every move in the game, specifically using a Pokemon's level up and TM learn set. So that means no fudging the numbers using Smeargle's Sketch, Ditto's Transform or Clefairy's Metronome. But have no fear, I'll be doing separate videos for those. For now though, we have a lot of Pokemon and moves to get through, so let's crack on. Tony uses Smokescreen, and then we catch our second Pokemon, Nat the Spearow. The overlay has shown Nat's already used one of her 30 moves. That's because Tony's already gotten Leer out of the way. Nat uses Peck and Growl, and it's time for another member, Pepper the Rattata, who quickly gets Tail Whip added to our total. Tony gets Ember and Sprout Tower, helping to make short work of the Sagely plants. After defeating Faulkner, we get given our first TM, Mudslap, which Pepper uses to blind a snake before we add Loki the Ekans to the team. Loki gets off a wrap, and Pepper uses a quick attack. We catch Jane the Hoppip, who uses Splash. Sorry Magikarp, you're not so special anymore. And also a Synthesis. As an added insult to the now obsolete Magikarp line, Jane wastes all her power points against a flopping fish and finishes it off with a struggle, increasing everyone's used move count by 1. We pick up the Swift TM in Union Cave and teach it to Pepper. Loki does a disappointing amount of damage to a Geodude with a 4 times resisted Poison Sting, and then on our left appears a Weedle named Sam. Sam uses String Shot, and then after a little bit of grinding he uses Harden after evolving into a Kakuna, and after one more evolution into a Beedrill, Sam gets Fury Attack. We then defeat Bugsy, get given the TM for Fury Cutter and teach it to our already furious Sam. We also teach the Flash HM we got from Sprout Tower to Jane. After chasing a bird around a forest for a bit, we are rewarded with another HM, Cut, which we also teach to Sam. We're getting our money's worth out of him. We catch a Paris named Wanda, who we'll be using in a little bit. But for now we chat to the green-haired man for the TM for Headbutt, then Loki uses it to nut sleeping owls. An old man gives us an egg containing a Tyrogue, who completely bodges my overlay as I hadn't accounted for split evolutions yet, but after a bit of tweaking we get the correct numbers showing again, as Wanda adds Scratch, Sweet Scent and Stun Spore to our list. The Dig TM is in National Park, which we teach to Tony. He then uses it to wreck an underleveled Raichu. Tony also gets the TM for Rollout from Goldenrod, which is my favourite move in this generation. And we catch our 9th Pokemon, Talos the Ditto. He's gonna take it easy in the box for a little while, but we'll come back to him later. Wanda poisons a cow as Pepper tightens her focus, but it's Tony who finishes Whitney off. We get the TM for Attract, which we teach to Wanda, as she sucks the life out of a dog and then makes a bird fall in love with her. Pepper shows off her scary face, and our first signature move with a run, Hyperfang. Just a quick note, signature moves are ones that are only learnt by one Pokemon or evolution line, and they really help speed up the process of coming up with this minimum team to tackle this challenge. So I'll be highlighting these moves so we can see how many signature moves there are in this generation. Although I will say we have a few odd cases coming up as Crystal tried to be clever and mess with my system. Loki takes a bite out of a Growlithe, and we catch our 10th teammate, Groot the Sudowoodo. Groot crosses 4 off the list with Rock Throw, Low Kick, Flail, and the signature Mimic. And we won't be using Mimic to sneak any moves that Sudowoodo shouldn't have access to. Our 11th recruit is Steve the Machop. He shows off a Karate Chop, and then finds the love of his life in Peggy the Farfetch'd. Peggy sand attacks, Wanda uses her signature Spore, and Loki uses his used-to-be signature but not anymore, Glare. Nat pursues a Magnemite, and Peggy juggles some swords. We then catch a Coughing called Bruce and unleash the legendary dogs into the world. Annoyingly, we'll be seeing them again soon. Bruce lets loose a Smog, Poison Gas, and then self-destructs, and Pepper uses the Shadow Ball TM we got from defeating Morty. Our Tyrogue hatches and ends up being a shiny. We name him Clint and begin the grind to evolve him into one of the 3 Hitmons. But watch as my brain implodes here. This little bugger has Dizzy Punch, Kangaskhan's signature move. Well, turns out anything that hatches from the odd egg also gets this bizarre signature move. At this point I rejigged my code, got Dizzy Punch added as an expected move for Tyrogue, bringing his total count to 48. Note that total's a combination of all 3 Hitmons, as the overlay doesn't know which one Clint will evolve into. And I've changed the text colour for Dizzy Punch to show that it's sort of a signature move, sort of not. Carol the Execute is our 14th Pokemon, and we get the Strength HM from a Sailor in Olivine. Clint uses Strength and brings us to 50 total moves, just 201 to go. Clint also gets the Swagger TM from the Lighthouse, and Loki uses Screech. Peggy uses Agility against a wild Miltank. This impresses Quake the Miltank so much that she joins the team. Quake uses Defense Curl and Stomp, and Carol uses her signature Barrage, as well as Hypnosis and Reflect. Bucky the Krabby is our 16th who uses Bubble, the Surf HM we got from the Kimono Girls, and Vice Grip. Tony shows us a Flame Wheel, a move I was convinced was a signature move for the Typhlosion line, but apparently not. Growlithe can learn it too. Our newly evolved Bucky uses Guillotine. An unwritten rule for this challenge this time is I want every move to hit, so we can see the animation. So this one takes a few attempts, but we get there eventually. The overlay thinks we've caught a 17th Pokemon mid-fight, but that's just not true. I sort that out shortly. Gen 2 is a tad trickier than Gen 1. In the meantime, Carol uses Confusion and Leech Seed, and our shiny Clint shows off every elemental punch. Jane sends a Primeape to sleep, and our reward for defeating Chuck is Dynamic Punch, and also the HM for Fly from his body-shaming wife. In keeping with his punchy theme, Clint gets Dynamic Punch and uses it to deck a fish. Peggy uses Fly, and a still angry Sam uses Rage and his signature Twineedle. Groot gets Rock Slide, and Steve gets Foresight and Seismic Toss. And with our Pokemon count accurate again, we defeat Jasmine, get the Iron Tail TM, and teach it to Tony. Quake bides her time and then drinks her own milk. I'm glad she's the only Pokemon that can learn that. Clint detects, and Tony uses Hidden Power that we got given on the way to the Lake of Rage. Clint then uses his signature Mach Punch. We find the Thief TM in the Rocket Hideout, which Pepper uses to steal the innocence of a Golbat. And for doing Lance's dirty work for him, we get the Whirlpool HM, which Bucky makes good use of. Our true 17th Pokemon is Peter the Spinarak, and soon after we borrow MJ the Eevee off Bill. After headbutting 40 trees to no avail, I learn all about special trees and use a funky online tool to find the correct tree to whack Loki's head into, eventually finding our 19th member, Shuri the Heracross. And immediately after that, keeping this catch train chugging, we catch Felicia the Meowth. And also we catch Jean the Sunken for good measure. I didn't realise just how many I caught in a row without a new move. And we now have Gwen the Smeargle as well after solving some puzzles in the Ruins of Elf. Finally, it's time for some new moves. Jean gives us Absorb and Growth, Felicia makes it rain with her signature Payday, and Shuri uses Horn Attack and Endure. We get Nightshade and Constrict from Peter, and then 2 more on the board from Jean with Mega Drain and Sunny Day. Gwen completes her incredibly deep 2 out of 2 move pool with the signature Sketch. An evolved Peter lets loose a Fury Swipes, and an evolved Felicia feels a bit faint. Shuri takes down a Shelder and then counters a tackle from another, and our pal Sam is back with a Pin Missile. Bucky uses our 100th move, the Icy Wind TM we got from defeating Price, and to celebrate 100 moves we catch Kamala the Tangela, who quickly gets 2 moves on the board with Bind and Vine Whip. Jane slows things down with a Cotton Spore, and then it's on to catch a legendary pup. Thankfully in Crystal, Suicune is a static encounter, which is lucky because we need him. Namor joins forces with us, and then uses Bubble Beam, Rain Dance, and for some reason, Gust. In the Ice Path, we pick up the Waterfall HM, which also gets used by our Wet Dog. We find Rest in here as well, which Quake pairs nicely with the Sleep Talk TM we found in the Goldenrod Underground. And then we catch Henry the Delibird as our 25th. Henry uses his signature Present, and then it's in the box with you, sir. Our almost happy enough to evolve MJ uses her cheerleading skills to baton pass to Nat, who gets in a mirror move, Wanda has a slash, and Bucky protects himself. And finally, after defeating Claire and going into the Dragon's Den, MJ is happy enough to evolve into an Espeon. Another nice crystal feature here. If we tell this old man that we're kind to animals, he gives us a Dratini, who knows Arcanine's signature Extreme Speed. So yet another signature move in our arsenal. Sharon uses Extreme Speed, Thunder Wave, Twister, and the TM from Claire, Dragon Breath. And after a few more levels and an evolution, she gets Slam and Dragon Rage too. We then catch Emma the Shelder, Sue the Jinx, and Bobby the Sneasel. Sue helps us get the signature Lovely Kiss on the list, along with Powder Snow and Double Slap. Emma withdraws, Supersonics, and Aurora Beams her enemies, with a signature Clamp on the side. Sue gives a Golbat a mean look and then launches herself at them with a Body Slam. Bruce conjures a Haze, and our even beefier than before Steve uses a signature Vital Throw, followed by a regular Mega Punch. Nat uses a Drill Peck, and an old lady teaches Namor how to summon a Sandstorm. Loki grabs the Earthquake TM from Victory Road, and then spits some acid. Ben the Rhyhorn is our 30th Pokemon, and it's time for the League. Shuri gets off a Reversal, Pepper uses her signature Super Fang, and Steve unleashes a Cross Chop. And we've defeated the League. With a new region available, I'm sure we'll have lots more Pokemon available to catch now. But before that, we receive a helpful tip from a bug catcher we'd previously battered, who let us know Yanma were swarming, so Darcy the Yanma joins the squad, bringing us to 31 Pokemon. Just think, if this was Generation 1, we'd be done by now. Kanto time. Ben eventually lands a Horn Drill in Surge's gym, one-shotting a Magnemite. Peggy learns False Swipe, which will be very useful when trying to catch things without killing them. Darcy uses Double Team, Solar Beam, Sonic Boom, and Wing Attack. Way to go. Bucky uses his signature Crab Hammer, and Sue sings a song so bad it makes those listening want to die, and then melts a dog's brains with Psychic. Emma uses an Ice Beam, and Wanda uses the Giga Drain TM we got from Erica. Squidgy's favourite pushover Janine gives us the Toxic TM, which Ben makes use of, becoming the alpha male he's always dreamt of being. Now to catch an elusive Eggy Bugger. I promised my friend I'd name a Chansey after them, but sorry Matt. I waited so long and the only one that showed up was a lady, so she'll have to do. Mrs. Matt helps us out with a Minimize, the signature Soft Boiled, and after an evolution, Sing, Light Scream, and Egg Bomb. We then head over to Rock Tunnel where we catch a Cubone named May. May quickly gets 2 signature Bone moves on the board with Bone Club and Bone Meringue, and a Thrash too. Sharon guards her safe, and after we deliver the machine part to the generator guy, Sharon gets Zap Cannon too. Time for some deja vu now as we head west of Lavender to catch a Kadabra with Kinesis. Charles is our 34th member and gets 3 down with the signature Kinesis, as well as Disable and Teleport. T'Challa the Snorlax joins the squad, giving us access to Snore, and Charles adds a Psybeam, Future Sight, and Recover. Karen the Dugtrio is our 36th, using Tri-Attack. Did anyone else know this thing can learn Tri-Attack? Magnitude and Fissure, which we eventually get to land against Brock's Armstar. Our leveled up Heifer rings her signature Heal Bell. I know it's not really a signature move, but just like with Gen 1, I've excluded Pokemon that I can't access, so no Celebi this time. We haven't captured nearly enough Pokemon yet, so we add Maria the Clefairy. She uses Pound, Encore, Metronome, and Moonlight. And then our Sunny Cat MJ comes out to use a Psych Up, which fails, and I realise I have no idea what this move is supposed to do. Psych Up resets the user's stat, changes the copy's stats. Right, okay. So watch this space. I'll go find an enemy that alters its own stats. Until then, let's see a signature Morning Sun, and an equally bright Flamethrower from Tony. After defeating Blue, we pop back to Pallet Town to check on Ash's mum, and find this creep rummaging around outside her house. Thankfully he's into meditation, so we finally get to see the Psych Up animation. I hope it was worth it. We'll catch him too. Say hello to Eddie, the meditation guru. And going a bit signature mad, we see Sharon's Outrage, Bobby's Beat Up, and Peter's Spiderweb. While in Mount Silver we catch Kitty the Mischievous. Kitty confuses a Poliwrath and then uses her signature Pain Split to share some HP. Then a quick hop over to Celadon to purchase Vision the Porygon, with his signature conversion, signature Sharpen, and cool sounding move Lock On. We talk to the Sleepy Man in Viridian for Dream Eater, which Vision uses against a snoozing Tangela. And now it's back to Johto, for the most time-consuming part of this entire challenge. But for you lucky people, it'll happen as quickly as woof. Get in the ball, Raikou. Thor the Thunder Pup is our 41st, shocking his enemies then roaring them away. And after a stupid amount of grinding, Crunch, Spark, and Thunder. Bruce ties his destiny to a Rattata and then dissolves him in sludge, and Steve forces an owl into submission. Another trip to a supermarket, and a nice lady gives the return TM to Thor, who loves us. And a week later the frustration TM to Henry, who hates us. It's a Christmas miracle. That fisherman who usually calls just to chat nonsense about fish has finally done something worthwhile. He's given us a Waterstone. He is hoping he coughs up another before this challenge is over. We pay Bill's gambling addict dad some coin to teach Thor Thunderbolt. And with that fried Rattata we've now hit 200 moves. Our last big milestone before this all comes to an end. A guard in Mahogany teaches Peter Sludge Bomb. And a guy near where Sudowoodo used to be teaches Sharon Rock Smash. We then deliver a letter carrying Kenya the Spearow to this man in exchange for the Nightmare TM. We bump into and execute Entei, just for the clout. 2 dogs are better than 3. Then Sue is able to give a Hutu to Bad Dream. A man who doesn't know how gravity works gives us the Curse TM in Celadon Mansion. I've always preferred the ghost version of this move, so Kitty will be showing this one off for us. And a so-called celebrity in hiding gives us the Steel Wing TM, which Peggy uses to complete her move list. Sue conjures a blizzard, Namor hides in some mist, Shuri uses her signature Mega Horn, and Bobby gives us Metal Claw, the no longer signature move of Scizor, thanks to Crystal. Namor uses Mirror Coat against a bubble beaming Tentacool, and then a Hydro Pump against an Oddish. 211 moves in and 41 Pokemon caught. What this challenge needs now is a change of scenery. We pick up a new Tony the Cyndaquil and take on a not insignificant amount of Pokémon Gold. We catch a version-exclusive Remoraid named Nick, and then after messing about with these damn ledges for longer than I care to admit, we catch Johnny the Ho-Oh with a Master Ball. I'll be updating the Pokemon count when we get these bad boys back to Crystal, but for now, let's pop over to Silver. Thankfully, only a brief stint is needed in Silver. After a fumble in the Whirl Islands, we can Master Ball Aurora the Lugia. But why should Gen 2 get all the fun? Gen 1 has been missing out. So a final detour has us starting a game in Pokemon Red, picking up a Squirtle named Logan, grabbing the Razorwind TM from the Rocket Underground, throwing away our rare candies to pick up a Guard Spec, great, and finally catching a Moltres named Jessica. We'll teach Jessica the Razorwind TM, then it's time for a mass exodus of our newly caught monsters over to our Crystal game. There we are, back in Crystal with a new Pokemon count of 46. I know the legendary birds can be caught in Crystal too, but they're too high of a level to still have their signature moves unfortunately, so Gold and Silver are here to save the day. Jessica uses Fire Spin and Razorwind. Razorwind is another oddly coloured move as technically no Pokemon in Gen 2 can learn it, hence the Gen 1 pit stop. Johnny the Ho-Oh shows off a Fire Blast, Whirlwind and an HM Power. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about his other move, I just wanted a climactic ending. It's at this point I bring our long forgotten Talos the Ditto out of the box. He's been resting in there for days. He quickly does his thing, using his signature transform to become a rat, but he won't be going back into the PC so soon. Sorry buddy.
As the most attractive male, will be snoo-snooed by the most beautiful women of Amazonia. Then the large women. Then the petite women. Then the large women again.
That's right. Generation 2 introduced breeding, and with it comes some moves that are inaccessible to me without it. I won't be using Pokemon that already know a move to give a bred Pokemon a new move. I'll only be using breeding as a means to unevolve a Pokemon, get a Pokemon to level 5, or in the case of Tyrogue and Eevee, clone them so I can get some new team members, and those will increase the total Pokemon count. Let the cycling with a bag full of eggs begin. We hatch Nick Jr., the level 5 Remoraid, deleting his father in the process. Logan Jr., the Squirtle, follows soon after. 2 baby Tyrogues, Reed and Eric, and Jean Jr., the baby Sunkern. Vision Jr. is born, along with Luke the Eevee, Maria Jr. the Cleffa, Emma Jr. the Shelder, Kitty Jr. the Mischievous, Eddie Jr. the Mr. Mime, Sue Jr. the Smoochum, T'Challa Jr. the Snorlax, and please dear God for the sake of my Ditto let this be the last one, Matt Jr. the Chansey. You're a girl again, sorry Matt. Alright people, final push. Let's finish this off. Eddie Jr. sets up a barrier, Sue Jr. gets in a lick and a sweet kiss. Eddie then learns that substrats are best strats and sets up a signature substitute. T'Challa Jr. forgets what he's doing and then plays the bongos on his belly. We keep Matt Jr. just unhappy enough to learn Double Edge before she evolves. Logan uses a Water Gun, Rapid Spin, and finally his signature Skull Bash. Another reason for our dip into Gen 1. The Squirtle line is the only one that gets access to that. After turning into a lower leveled octopus, Nick Jr. gets his signature Octazooka, and our baby Vision gets to use his signature Conversion 2. Yes, that's right. The only way to use Conversion 2 in Gen 2 is by buying a Porygon and then making it have a baby. After shaking Fisherman Tully down for a second Waterstone, we use both on Emma and Luke, increasing our Pokemon count by 1 as Vaporeon is a new addition. I get my stat manipulations wrong and Eric evolves into the stretchy-legged Hitmonlee, whereas Reed becomes a Hitmontop, adding another 2 to our total. We also evolved Jean Jr. into a low-leveled Sunflora, using a Sunstone which we got from the bug catching competition. I had time to kill whilst hatching eggs. She uses Razor Leaf and Petal Dance, moves that she could never have learnt as a Sunkern. Eric uses his signature High Jump Kick and also Mind Reader, and then his signature Mega Kick. Reed contributes with his signature Triple Kick, and Baby Cleffa charms the Sentret. Luke uses Acid Armor, and Emma Jr. goes Spike Mad with Spikes and Spike Cannon. Kitty Jr. uses her signature Psywave and a Spite. And it's at this point that I look at my 3 Hitmons and their remaining moves, Chan's Comet Punch, Lee's Double Kick and Jump Kick, and Top and Lee's Rolling Kick. But look at these Gen 2 learn sets, and the level at which they evolved from Tyrogue, and tell me it's possible. I'm not going crazy, right? This little bugger may have given me Dizzy Punch for free, but he's ruining everything else for me. So without a better idea, I dip back into 2 Pokemon Red saves, and grab the 2 prize Pokemon from the Fighting Dojo, finally getting a Clint that knows Comet Punch, and an Eric that I leveled up to 38 in Red. so he can get access to double kick, rolling kick, and the signature jump kick, finishing off the movesets for all the Hitmons. 6 moves left, 6 Pokemon who know them. I know just where we can end this. At the top of Mount Silver, a Mute challenges us to battle. He may regret that decision when he sees our team. May the Marowak caves in Pikachu's head with a signature Bone Rush, and finishing him off with a Thrash. That's exactly what Marowak needed in this generation, a 3rd signature bone-related move. Johnny the Ho-Oh incinerates Venusaur with a signature Sacred Fire. Aurora lets loose a signature Aeroblast against the Blastoise. It doesn't kill him, but it looks pretty sick. Sharon rips a hole through Espeon with a Hyper Beam, still the coolest sounding move in the game. Jessica uses her signature Sky Attack to finish off the tanky Snorlax, and look how sweet this animation is. He chucks a smaller bird at him. This is the point in the video where you can see if you've been paying attention and know what the final move will be. Jessica sacrifices herself getting Red's Charizard low, and out comes Bruce. Bruce hangs on for dear life from a flamethrower, but he pulls through. Bruce is a bomb ready to go off at any second, and Charizard just lit the fuse. Kaboom! As the dust settles on a grateful universe, we've become the all-time champion of Gen 2. And also, we've used every move in the game with the fewest Pokemon. So, to answer the question nobody asked, the least number of Pokemon needed to use every move in Generation 2 is 49. It might be able to be done with even less, by trading more Pokemon and TMs from Gen 1, but I set myself the rule of only using Gen 1 when absolutely necessary. So the signature move owners Squirtle and Moltres were all I allowed myself. Oh, and the punchy and kicky boys, but I had no choice, I swear. There's also a lot I still don't know about Gen 2. The dizzy punching Odd Egg was news to me, and the Dratini with extreme speed, which changed my end result twice. Originally I'd got Arcanine and Kangaskhan in the team too, giving us an end count of 51. So if anyone knows of a way I could have done this with even fewer, please let me know. And at the end of the Gen 1 video I explained how I came up with the minimum count. And I did the same again this time. Find the signatures, run my Python code over the remaining moves. The only difference was that in Gen 1 I was given 24 possible teams to choose from. This time I had 1,848 49 Pokemon combos to look at. I did what any rational person would do and selected the top one, without checking any of the others, and that's why I wasted so much of my life searching for a goddamn Raikou. As with Gen 1, I'll see how access to mythical Pokemon could have helped things by adding Mew and Celebi into the mix. And minimum number is still 49. But this time we have 5,712 combos to choose from. I guess with Heal Bell being known by Miltank, who's already a mandatory signature Pokemon due to Milk Drink, Celebi doesn't really bring much to the party. And Mew is again just a glorified Ditto, as all of its TMs and HMs are mopped up by our other team members. Maybe one day we'll hit a generation where the mythicals matter. To give some comparisons, here are the number of signatures and possible minimum number teams with or without mythicals in the first 2 gens. Finally, I thought I'd do a quick bit at the end of this video just to show where my data comes from, for anyone who's interested. The Pokemon ROM disassemblies are a godsend. I'll put the GitHub link in the description of this video. Essentially, people far cleverer than me have cracked open the original games and displayed all of the files contained within. So using the Crystal disassembly, I'm able to get the level up learn sets of all Pokemon using the EVO's attacks file, and then the TM-HM learn sets of all Pokemon from the individual Pokemon files in the base stats folder. The EVO's attacks file also contains all evolution information, and so using these data sources I can grab the level up and TM moves for every Pokemon, then collapse them into their evolutionary lines, and so now my code knows that technically a Gyarados can learn Splash. And then for each move, check which Pokemon can learn it, remove excess evolutionary Pokemon, sort by count of how many Pokemon can learn a certain move. This way we get access to all the signature moves early on, and then we can remove every move those signature Pokemon also learn, and repeat. Okay, I think that'll do. This has been a long one, so thanks for sticking with it if you made it this far. For the next videos in this series, I'll be doing a much requested Ditto only run in Gen 1 to see how many moves we can use using just the enemy's moves. And of course I'll be looking at doing a minimum Pokemon run of Gen 3. That one's gonna be fun. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya!